Nobody warned Daniel about Siberian cats. Not the woman at the rescue who smiled too knowingly when he filled out the paperwork. Not his wife, who had been asking for a cat for 3 years and cried a little when he finally said yes. Not a single person in his life thought to mention that a Siberian cat was not, in fact, a cat in any traditional sense of the word. It was an opinion with fur, a very strong, very specific opinion about food, schedules, personal space, and the correct way to operate a spoon. The spoon thing started on day 4. Nobody warned him about that either. His name was Beau. 6 years old, gray and whites, and impossibly soft, with the kind of face that suggested he had seen everything the world had to offer and found most of it mildly disappointing. He weighed 12 pounds and occupied approximately 40% of the kitchen at any given moment. He had opinions about everything. He had feelings about mealtimes that bordered on the philosophical, and he had, from the very first morning in his new home, developed a focused and completely unshakable interest in whatever Daniel happened to be eating. Daniel was not a cat person. He had said this clearly and on multiple occasions over the course of his 7-year marriage. He liked dogs. He respected dogs. Dogs made sense to him. They were direct. They communicated clearly and honestly. They did not sit on the kitchen counter at 6:47 in the morning staring at a spoon with the concentrated intensity of someone who had been personally wronged by the existence of yogurt. His wife had wanted a cat for 3 years. He had said no for 3 years, consistently and without much drama. Then one evening she showed him a photo of Beau on her phone. He looked at it for a long moment and made the mistake of saying he looked fine, which she correctly and immediately interpreted as yes, and the paperwork was filled out the following Saturday morning. The first week was educational in the most direct sense of the word. Beau did not adjust to the house adjusted to Beau. He identified the warmest spots by day 2 and claimed them without discussion or negotiation of any kind. He located the cabinet where the food was stored and sat in front of it each morning at exactly 7:15, not meowing, not making any sound at all, just watching Daniel with the patient certainty of someone who knew precisely how this was going to end. He discovered that Daniel ate breakfast at the kitchen counter and positioned himself 6 inches to the left of the bowl every single morning without exception. Daniel tried ignoring him the first few times. Beau waited. Daniel tried turning his back. Beau repositioned. Daniel tried eating faster. Beau simply moved closer and watched him with an expression of calm, professional interest. On the 9th morning, Daniel offered him a small amount of whatever he was eating, mostly out of curiosity about what would happen next. Beau licked the spoon with the focused appreciation of someone finally receiving what had been owed to them for some time, then sat back and looked at Daniel with an expression that communicated clearly that yes, this was how it would be from now on, and they were both going to be fine with that arrangement. Daniel told his wife nothing about this. He was not ready to have that conversation. I see you're still here but haven't subscribed yet. That honestly stings a little. Hit subscribe. You'll want to see what comes next. The thing about Siberian cats that nobody includes in the adoption paperwork is this. They are not aloof. They are not independent in the way people mean when they say that cats are independent, as though the cat simply does not care about anything. Beau cared enormously. He cared about everything Daniel did with a focus that was almost research level. He followed him from room to room, not loudly, not demandingly, just with the steady, quiet presence of someone who had decided Daniel was worth observing closely and saw no reason to pretend otherwise. He sat on the desk while Daniel worked from home on Tuesdays. He positioned himself on the couch armrest while Daniel watched television in the evenings. He waited outside the bathroom door with the patience of a creature who had nowhere else to be and considered this entirely normal behavior. Daniel's wife found all of this delightful. Daniel maintained publicly that he found it inconvenient. Nobody in the house was fully convinced by this position, including the cat. By month 2, the morning routine had calcified into something neither of them had formally agreed to, but both of them clearly understood. Beau at 7:15 by the cabinet, Daniel making coffee, Beau relocating to the counter with the ease of someone who had been doing this for years, Daniel pretending not to notice. The spoon offered, the spoon accepted. Beau settling back into his spot with that particular expression of calm satisfaction that Daniel had started privately referring to as his "this is correct" face. His wife caught them one morning. She stood in the kitchen doorway for a full 30 seconds before Daniel noticed she was there. He was holding out the spoon, Beau was receiving it with considerable dignity. Daniel started to say something about it. His wife held up one hand, said absolutely nothing, and walked back out of the kitchen. Some things in a home simply become true without anyone sitting down and deciding they will. Stories like this are exactly why they deserve to be told. 6 months after Beau arrived, Daniel's work schedule shifted significantly. He started leaving earlier and coming home later for 3 consecutive weeks. The morning routine broke. The 7:15 cabinet moment happened without him. He was out the door by 6:30, and Beau ate from his bowl and waited in the kitchen for a while before eventually moving to the window. On the 4th Thursday of that stretch, Daniel came home at 8:43 p.m. He was tired in the specific way that accumulates quietly over weeks and then lands all at once on an ordinary Thursday evening. He sat down on the kitchen floor with his coat still on, not dramatically, just because the chair seemed unreasonably far away at that particular moment. Beau came in from the other room. He crossed the kitchen with his usual unhurried authority and sat down directly in front of Daniel. He looked at him for a long, steady moment with those large, serious eyes. Then he stepped forward and pressed the top of his head against Daniel's chin and held it there without moving. Daniel sat on the kitchen floor at 8:43 p.m. with a 12-pound cat pressed against his face and said nothing for a long time. He told his wife about it later that night. She did not say, "I told you so." She didn't need to. Today, Beau is still 6 years old in the way that certain cats seem to permanently occupy the age they arrived at. He still waits at the cabinet at 7:15. He still follows Daniel from room to room with the dedication of someone who has made a professional commitment. He still accepts the spoon every morning with the manner of someone doing Daniel a small but meaningful daily favor. Daniel describes himself, when asked, as not a cat person. Nobody in the house believes him anymore. Least of all Beau. Is it possible for a cat to choose someone who never thought they wanted to be chosen, or did Beau know something Daniel didn't? Tell me in the comments.